Taiwan's response to Trump's tariff policy. Taiwan's aquaculture industry struggles with U.S. tariffs. Teacher threatens students with craft knife in Taoyuan. South Korea to hold snap presidential election on June 3rd. Roof collapses at nightclub in the Dominican Republic. South Korea says 10 North Korean soldiers crossed border. Floods leave half of Congo's capital underwater. Dire wolf brought back from extinction?
Hello everyone, I'm Oceana. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Thursday, April 10th, International Safety Pin Day, and here are our top stories. And for today's Taiwan news, on April 9th, President Lai Ching-te published an op-ed in Bloomberg outlining Taiwan's four-point response to President Trump's reciprocal tariff policy. These include a zero-tariff deal with the U.S., increased imports and military purchases, higher investment in the U.S., and a commitment to eliminate non-tariff trade barriers. Lai emphasized Taiwan's confidence in overcoming trade challenges and shaping the future of the Indo-Pacific region. On April 9th, President Trump's 32% reciprocal tariff took effect, severely impacting Taiwan's economy. Tainan's milkfish industry faces rejection of orders from the U.S. and rising costs, leading farmers to predict increasing losses and possible shutdowns. A Taoyuan elementary school teacher allegedly threatened students with a craft knife due to poor grades. Parents and the Taoyuan Teachers Association have filed complaints, accusing the school principal of covering up the incident. The Education Bureau has launched an investigation. And in global news, South Korea's government has approved June 3rd as the date for a snap presidential election, following the removal of President Yoon Suk-yeol last week over his short-lived declaration of martial law. The cabinet agreed on the date on Tuesday after discussions with the National Election Commission, as it needed to approve a public holiday for the election. Yoon was removed by the Constitutional Court for violating his official duties by issuing the martial law decree on December 3rd and mobilizing troops in an attempt to halt parliamentary proceedings.
The law requires a new presidential election within 60 days if the position becomes vacant. South Korea has faced months of political turmoil since Yoon stunned the country by declaring martial law, triggering his impeachment by parliament and that of acting leader Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. Han's impeachment was later overturned by the Constitutional Court, and he will continue in the role of acting president until the election. The power vacuum at the top of South Korea's government has overshadowed Seoul's efforts to manage relations with the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump at a time of spiraling U.S. tariffs and slowing growth in Asia's fourth-largest economy.
According to the Dominican Republic's emergency operations, at least 180 people are dead, including merengue singer Ruby Perez, a governor, and two former MLB players, after the roof of a nightclub collapsed early Tuesday during a concert. It is not yet clear what caused the roof of Jet Set, a renowned club in the National District, to collapse. The owners said in a statement that they are fully and transparently cooperating with the relevant authorities to assist the victims and clarify what happened.
The disaster occurred during a performance by Perez. His manager, Enrique Paulino, said authorities informed him of the star's death following hospitalization for injuries sustained in the collapse. The nation's director of emergency management, Major General, and Dominican Republic President Luis Abinader said that at least 138 people were rescued from the rubble by late Tuesday morning. Among those initially rescued was former Major League Baseball pitcher Octavio Dotel. He was taken to a hospital but did not survive. Photos of the scene shared by local media show the building's fallen roof in pieces, crumbling cement walls, and piles of debris.
South Korean officials said their military fired warning shots after North Korean soldiers crossed the rivals' tense border on Tuesday. South Korea's military said in a statement that about 10 North Korean soldiers were turned to the north after South Korea made warning broadcasts and fired warning shots. It said the North Korean soldiers violated the military demarcation line at the eastern section of the border at 5 p.m. local time. The military said they are closely monitoring North Korean activities.
Bloodshed and violent confrontations have occasionally occurred at the Korea's heavily fortified border, known as the Demilitarized Zone. However, when North Korean troops briefly violated the border in June last year and prompted South Korea to fire warning shots, it did not escalate into a major source of tension. South Korean officials assessed that the soldiers did not deliberately commit the border intrusion, noting that the site was a wooded area and that signs marking the military demarcation line were not clearly visible. South Korea said the North Koreans were carrying construction tools. The motive for Tuesday's border crossing by North Korean soldiers was not immediately clear.
The death toll from flooding that cut access to over half of the Congolese capital, Kinshasa, has reached 33 as authorities race to evacuate and support hundreds of families trapped in their homes. The Congolese Interior Minister said on state television that 10 more people were confirmed dead as of Sunday evening, in addition to the 23 people killed the day before. Heavy rains began last week, causing the Kinijili River to overflow on Friday and submerge hundreds of buildings.
While the situation had improved by Monday morning, some access roads remained blocked and vehicular traffic was limited. Many residents blamed the government for not responding quickly enough to the disaster. Marie Enzola, one of those whose properties were destroyed, said, "We lost everything and left everything behind. The rain caught us by surprise late at night." Officials said Sunday that most of the fatalities were caused by walls that collapsed shortly after the deluge began. The Congolese Interior Ministry said in a statement that the flooding also hampered access to drinking water in at least 16 communes after water facilities were affected.
Time magazine published a snow-white wolf on its cover, accompanied by a headline announcing the return of the dire wolf. This now extinct species is perhaps most famous for its fictional role in Game of Thrones, but it did exist more than 10,000 years ago when it roamed across the Americas. The company Colossal Biosciences is behind these headlines. It announced that it used deft genetic engineering and ancient DNA to breed 3 dire wolf puppies and to de-extinct the species. Dire wolves diverged from gray wolves anywhere between 2.5 and 6 million years ago.
But while the young wolves, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi, represent an impressive technological breakthrough, independent experts say they are not actually dire wolves. Zoologist Philip Seddon from the University of Otago in New Zealand explained that the animals are genetically modified gray wolves. Colossal publicized its efforts to use similar cutting-edge genetic techniques to bring back extinct animals, including the woolly mammoth and the Tasmanian tiger. Meanwhile, experts have pointed to important biological differences between the wolf and the dire wolf that roamed and hunted during the last ice age. Colossal is keeping the wolves at a private 2,000-acre facility at an undisclosed location in the northern U.S.
The answer for yesterday was B, impose. To protect the local economy, the government decided to impose a tariff on imported goods. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Dire wolf brought back from extinction. Number 1. Colossal. 巨大的. The colossal statue stood at the entrance of the temple, towering over the visitors. Number 2. Roam. 漫游, 徘徊. The herd of elephants began to roam the savannah in search of food and water. Number 3. Diverge. 分岔, 分开. The paths diverge at the fork in the road, so be sure to take the right one. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. Legend has it that in 1849, Walter Hunt, a mechanic and the person credited with the invention of the safety pin, owed a friend $15 and decided to invent something new to earn the money to repay him. He invented the safety pin. Originally called the dress pin, this small spring-loaded item with a clasp was designed to be protective where straight pins might cause injuries. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm your host, Oceana, and I'll see you next time.